Metal Man.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem! This is Pete Altieri with Murder Metal Mayhem, and I have the privilege to be doing this interview with artist Kelsey Winter of Winter's Gore. I really dig your brand of sick art, and I want to thank you for taking the time out to talk to me today. How are things up there in Wisconsin in cheese country?
Cheese country. Things are good. It is actually really cold. We got maybe 2 inches of snow.
I was going to say, you guys got some. We got rain, but you guys are north, so you got snow. I seen a buddy in Minnesota got 17 inches of snow. So yeah, fuck all that. Definitely not up for that.
No, it turned into like a slushy, freezing rain. So we just stayed home, didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. But hey, you've got plenty of gore to keep you busy, so that's a good thing about that. Very cool. Yep. Well, I really love your artwork, your website. You got a lot of stuff going on at very reasonable prices. What is it that got you interested in art, and more specifically, the type of art that you're doing?
That's a good question. I have always been into horror, just scary, creepy things.
Right.
Halloween is the best. So I've always been artistic too. I just never put my mind to anything. I don't have the patience technically, but I've always been I loved art class. Always been good at drawing. And so one year for Halloween, I was like, I want to do something really creepy. I want to get into FX makeup. So that's where it all started for me. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. I used glue and toilet paper and made a gross looking wound on my face.
Oh, cool.
And I loved it. And so I kept looking up YouTube tutorials on how to get better. And I did. I absolutely loved doing that. And then I said to myself, this isn't really getting me anywhere. It's just making some cool photos,
Right.
So I started doing, my first thing was making the silicone finger keychains.
Yeah, those are really cool. You sent me some of those. I want to show here for our listeners. I'm sure you've got some there, but you sent them in these really cool bags. I also love the box you sent me, Kelsey. It's all blood spattered. I mean, I was loving it when I got it. I live in a real small town, so the post office always gets a kick when I get crazy stuff in the mail. And you get these cool keychains like you're talking about. Looks pretty much like a real finger there. That's pretty awesome. Absolutely. So you make these out of silicone then?
Yes. Yep. And not one is the same. They're going to be different every time.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
I use my fingers, my husband's, my friends, my siblings, my father. Everybody is like, oh, can you do my fingers? Yeah, come on over.
That's cool. I did an interview with Tony Campagna, Spellbound Effects, and are pretty awesome. And he does the same thing. So, yeah, he's had plenty of friends coming over and, hey, let me make a mold of your head, or whatever. Yeah. He said he's got a buddy that's head has been impaled on all kinds of stakes and different things. And it's kind of funny,
That's awesome. Yeah, he's somebody I absolutely look up to. His work is incredible.
He is really talented and incredibly humble about it too. Really super cool dude. So I'm glad that you know him. I thought I saw that you guys were friends, so that's cool.
Yeah, we've actually talked. I actually went to him for a couple tips. So.
Well, good. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Tony's a great dude, man. He's really cool. So do you do other art too, like painting and different things like that?
Painting, I have tried. I've wanted to, but I'm just no good at it. I can't mix the colors and it just looks like a little kid did it. But drawing, I'm not going to call myself an awesome drawer, but I mean, I can doodle. I can make something look all right.
That's cool. Better than me, because I, like you just said, it looks like a little kid did it. If I tried to draw something, people just laugh at me. When I
Yeah.
have artists do my book covers, I sketch something out and they already know that I'm just trying to give them an idea. That by no
Right.
means am I trying to show off my prowess at the pen, because I can't
Right.
do it. So that's cool though. Yeah, I'm always curious with artists that I've talked to. Jeff Gaither's another one. I've known Jeff for 20 plus years. He's awesome. And I always just love to pick the brain of people that do what you guys do. So that's really cool. Now, are there, you mentioned Tony Campagna, any other artists that you admire and to try to get yourself better at what you do?
There was another guy. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He kind of lays low. His name is Dave Nagy.
For some reason, that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
He also does like the severed hands, the body parts. He's just really really detailed at what he does, and he does a few conventions. But other than that, I don't even know if he sells his things or
Wow.
besides the conventions. Yes, but
Right.
yeah,
Well, that's
him and
cool.
Tony and
What
yeah.
about Rick Fisher with the masks? Have you ever seen Rick?
Yes,
I got like
absolutely.
7 of his masks in our studio. So
Yeah, his Gacy one. That
yeah, amazing
absolutely.
stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
went to my wife and I went to Cleveland to visit her brother a couple of years ago, and Rick lives in Cuyahoga Falls, which is close. And so me and her drove to the studio. It's his house, but in the basement. And he showed us the whole operation. Is the coolest thing, how he makes the molds and the whole process. But it's like this little basement, like in anybody else's house. You'd never
Right?
know, driving by there, that this dude is making Gacy and Bundy masks
Yeah.
and selling them worldwide in a basement in Cuyahoga Falls, which is a small town.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so Rick is a super cool dude. But yeah, it's just neat that, the community of artists that, people might think, oh, you're competitors, you're not going to help it. No, I mean, most people that do what you do, same thing with me, my days of being a musician, most people that do that kind of stuff are more than willing to, collaborate with others and learn
Yep.
something from somebody else, and,
Yeah.
obviously they didn't start out doing it the way they're doing it now. So, they learned, and that's cool that they're passing that to you. So
Yep.
I'm sure one day, if not already, you get some, teenager that's good at art that contacts you and's like, hey,
Oh yeah.
how did,
No, it's happened.
good.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool feeling, and that's really good that you got people trying to, learn from you too. So it's all about that. Now, can you let our listeners know some of the cool things that you make? Because it's not just the keychains. You do a
Yeah.
lot. You sent me this Bundy candle, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And then this is, I think, a Christmas yeah, it's a Christmas ornament, which is just awesome. So I love that. And yeah, so what else are you doing over there at Winter's Gore? I see some stuff behind you.
Yes, I do. I tried to set up mostly all my stuff. So with the candles, we don't actually make those anymore, and those actually were made by my husband, which is
Oh.
weird. I do the gore, and he's making the candles. Right? But,
But it's a Bundy candle, so we're going to give him a
Yeah.
pass.
yeah. So I
It smells
Um,
really good too. I thought the scent of the candle smelled good.
yeah, I tried to. So I have a Gacy one, and we did cotton candy for Gacy.
Nice.
Charles Manson, I think we did Dragon's Blood for him.
Perfect.
I have Ed Gein. I think it was like Amber Essential or something like that. So yeah, those are the candles, and I only have a few of those left. But I do earrings. So
Nice.
I only do the severed thumbs just because thumbs are smaller. You're not gonna have a
Yeah,
huge
no, that's
earring.
perfect. That's
But yeah,
hilarious.
for earrings,
Now, do you
obviously
get weird looks when you wear this stuff? Because I'm sure you like bring it to like your local Casey's or
Yeah,
your
no,
convenience
so,
stores.
I always bring my stuff to work, and I just work in a factory, just a day job I have, and
Right.
everybody just I don't know, they cringe at it, and it's like,
I'm
oh, come on.
sure that
I
chick
tried
is nuts.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did these for Christmas, just something Christmassy,
Yeah,
Gore ornaments.
that's really
I
cool.
do lamps now. So far my lamps and my keychains are my number one sellers.
Really?
You said I could move the
Yeah. Yeah, I see that lamp. Oh, wow, that one's cool.
so this tall one,
Oh, that's sick.
my new one, and then I have like that right there,
Right.
skull, and then
I
I
saw
do
that one. That's cool. That reminds me kind of the ones Tony does like that. We
yeah,
have one in the studio.
yep,
Sick
kind of
though.
like. But other than that, I do.
The fishing lures just blew my mind.
Oh yeah, the fishing lure. Yeah, me and my husband are big. We love fishing, and
Okay.
we love fishing. So, yeah, people have actually caught pretty decent sized northern and muskie, and
I saw there was a picture on your website of one of your customers with the fishing lure
yeah,
in the fish. Yeah.
yep,
That's awesome. That was
yeah, and I
cool.
think it was through the ice too
Oh,
for that one.
wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that. Yeah, that's interesting. And I'm sure as you do what you do, you'll find things that, maybe the most unlikely thing that caught fire will catch fire with you. And we've done that with the podcast, different things we've tried. Sometimes they succeed and other
Yep.
times, they go down in flames, but you learn by just trying it out.
Yep.
Now, what kind of, I know you seem like, I think everything I've read about you says you're self-taught, but have you had any other than doing it on your own, have you had any formal training in any of this stuff?
No training. And everybody asks me that. They're like, "Oh, you had to went to school for this." I'm like, "No, just YouTube tutorials and kind of
That's amazing.
do my own thing with it. I'll watch somebody do something and I'll kind of put my own work towards it and just practice and yeah."
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to be said for that, being self-taught the way you do. That is, you just, like try, like we were just saying, trial and error. And,
Exactly.
the amazing thing about technology and YouTube videos, I mean, I use it for writing still, and I've been writing for 40 years. I still learn things from watching tutorials and, different, you can always learn something. No matter how good you think you are at something, you can always learn. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
cool. That's really cool. I know different artists I've talked to, some are self-taught and then some gone to different, like, you know, makeup, art for, movies and stuff like that. And is the gore business something that you're doing year round? I know obviously Halloween, just like with me with my writing stuff, is popular in Halloween, but gore is year round with you?
Absolutely. Yep. I do everything year round. Mainly like during the fall is when I go really hardcore with things. But like I have my website, people are always wanting something year round, whether it's for a gift for somebody who loves creepy things or just for themselves
Right.
or horror fans. So yeah, definitely year round.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think right now, I mean, we see it with Murder Metal Mayhem as, true crime is a big thing. Women love true crime. I would bet a lot of your customers are probably female, where you would think, at least I would, being my age, that would be more of a guy thing. But I'm blown away. Like 75% of our listeners are female. Do you
Yep.
find the same with what you do?
Yes, it is mostly female, and a lot of them are like Ted Bundy obsessed. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a mix between both. But yeah, definitely a lot of female.
Yeah, it is interesting. And
Yep.
true crime is such a big thing. So I could see something like what you're doing kind of going hand in hand. People that like true crime are probably going to like what you do. Same thing with us. We attract, which is funny though, we do pretty serious, I mean, we goof around some, but we do our features are serious, but we were broke in the top 200 Apple comedy podcasts. Finally, we broke into the top 200, which is funny because wouldn't really look at us as a comedy podcast first, but I guess the way we goof around and we do like killer cage matches where we put the serial killers in a cage and they fight, and it's just nuts, and the listeners pick random numbers, and that's how we generate who fights each week. And it's just goofy, but it's fun. And I think with true crime being a big thing and like what you're doing, it's just really cool. It's a cool time to be doing that,
Yeah, you got to have fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I see that you're into metal, which of course is always going to be good with the guys here at Metal Mayhem. So I wanted to ask you, what are your top, if you had to pick three, I know it's tough, but
Definitely.
what are three bands? You don't have to be your top, but just three bands that you really dig.
Okay, I will mention three bands that I have been listening to recently, like nonstop.
Okay.
So actually, number one would be Spite. I absolutely love Spite.
Really? I've never heard them before.
No,
what do they do? What kind of metal is it?
It's more like slam.
Okay.
Slam metal. I don't really understand the genres yet, but
I know it gets ridiculous. I'll have to check them out, though. I love asking people about this. So
yeah,
Spite.
Actually, just yesterday they came out with a new single or song. I think a new album's coming. So
okay.
Yeah, and it's brutal. It's everything I've wanted. So
awesome. What else?
So besides Spite being number one, number two would be Acrania.
Acrania.
Yeah, I could be pronouncing it wrong, but that's how I say it.
Okay.
They're pretty heavy, definitely slam. And then number three would be, I love Lamb of God. I love Pantera. Those are all like the old school ones for me. Devil Driver.
Right.
Have you heard of Attila?
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Yep.
Cool.
So yeah, I like all that.
Awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, we of course love it. And I played, in bands for years myself. And so, yeah, I'm all about it. When we started doing the podcast, we thought, well, we wanted to do, something that takes things that we love and meld them into one. So we thought we love true crime, we love metal, and smash it up, and you get Metal Mayhem. So that's cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I saw you did some conventions recently. How did those go, and are there any coming up? I know for me, they're pretty much done for the season, but what did you do? Which ones did you do?
So my first one was in July, and that was Flashback Weekend, and I kind of felt out of place there because it was more of the bigger, like, horror merchandise, like the horror movies. You got your Jason, your Freddy, your Michael Myers.
Right.
So for me, I feel like I fall under more of the dark art convention. So, but I did good. Like I had a good outcome there.
Good.
My second one was the Dark Art and Oddities convention, and that was I think last month.
Where was that? Was that the one in Indiana?
Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Chicago.
I did pretty good there. And then last weekend I had a Krampus market, and I did good there too. And then that was my last one for the year.
Okay.
And then my next one is in April, and that is the Visually Odd convention.
Huh.
Ran by the same person who runs the Dark Art and Oddities convention, and it'll
that's
also
Chicago.
Yep, a DeKalb. I could be pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah. DeKalb,
yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. I might have to check that one out. I know we do the Dark History convention. The next one's going to be in August. I saw he moved it instead of being in October. So
yeah, actually, I'm pretty bummed about that. I had a table and everything. I was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
But we were having car issues, so we never made it. But I told him I am going to make it next year for sure.
Good. Yeah, I knew you were supposed to be there, and I made a couple of laps, and it wasn't until afterward that I was like, wait a minute, if she was there, I would have surely seen her,
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
I always go there with the wad of cash because I love buying stuff, and I
Yeah.
always try to at least sell more than I buy. But it's hard to do at something like that.
Right.
So many cool things.
Yeah.
Couldn't resist some of the stuff that people were selling is just so interesting. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
you would
know.
do really good there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have any new designs? I'm sure you're kind of coming up with stuff all the time, but anything you want to share with our listeners?
Um,
Anything you got cooking?
so new designs are always going to be with my lamps. I'm always coming up with different looks on my lamps. And then the ornaments are definitely new. I don't know if I sent you these. I don't know if you can see that through the.
Yeah, I could see it. No, I didn't. I don't think so. I don't think so.
I might have made them after I sent that, but this was for my most recent convention.
Oh, those are
I
cool.
have, yeah, I have Ed Gein, Dahmer, and Gacy made up. So those are what's new, and I'm always coming up with new masks. I didn't show any of the masks.
Your
This is one
masks
of
are
them.
wicked. Yeah, I was checking those out when I went on your
Yeah.
website. Wow.
So I believe that one was new, and then this one.
Nice. Oh,
Yep.
wow. Those are creepy as hell.
Yeah, my masks sell fast at the conventions too. Everybody's like, "Oh, I can't find anything like this anywhere." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
And your prices, I was really impressed. I mean, you're really keeping them very competitive, which is good.
yeah, yeah." People are always shocked at that. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you listen to, I mean, you're busy, but do you get a chance to listen to any podcasts? And if so, which ones do you like?
this is gonna sound weird because it has nothing to do with horror or anything I like, but I like listening to Joe Rogan.
Okay, yeah, a lot. I've talked to many people that dig Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
then obviously, you guys.
Murder Metal Mayhem, of course, goes
Yes.
perfectly when you got family over, get grandma around to listen to us talk about cannibals. We
Right.
just did the Vince Lee episode, the guy in Canada that stabbed the passenger to death, beheaded him, and then ate the corpse while the cops had the bus surrounded for 4.5 hours. So
It's crazy.
doesn't get much more brutal than that. Although this next one we got coming up this week, Anatoly Moskvin, the Russian doll maker, he dug up little girls out of the cemetery, brought them home, and made dolls around the corpse. And he put voice boxes in their chest so they could talk to him. And he knew their names. There was 26 of them when they arrested him. He knew all their
Wow.
names and their birthdays, and he would have birthday parties for them. And yeah, his parents lived with him and had no idea
Oh
that there
my
were
God.
actually bodies inside these things. Yeah, it's
Really?
messed up. Anatoly Moskvin in Russia. I'll send you a
Okay.
link to it.
Yeah.
It's
I've never heard about
nuts.
that.
No, I hadn't either, but Chris brought it up, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I clicked on it, and I was like, oh my God, this is nuts.
Yeah.
But he was a college professor, and he was obsessed with death, and he wanted a daughter, and he was going to adopt a daughter, and they wouldn't let him because he didn't make enough money. So he decided to take matters into his own hands, and just like you guys up in Wisconsin, Ed Gein style, dug him up. But instead of, making, lampshades and stuff with the bodies, he was mummifying them and then making dolls out of them. So there's some
Wow.
wacky people out there. But
I was
yeah,
just gonna say there is some psychotic
I
people
know.
out there.
Who comes up with this shit? We're on 161 episodes, and the amount of material we could do is limitless
Yeah.
of all the stuff out there, all the things. And we're actually doing Ed Gein this month for our final episode of the year. So,
Oh, nice.
and we've got a guest on, a fan, a listener, name is Rebecca. She's from Wisconsin Rapids, but her uncle was one of the cops out there at Gein's place when they arrested him.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be cool. She's going to come on the show as a guest, and we're going to talk about Ed Gein. That'll be the last one.
Actually, I'd like to say something about that.
Yeah.
You mentioned like grandma listening to Murder Metal Mayhem. She actually got me, I would say she got me into the interests of my like serial killers and stuff. Because
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, she actually, when Ed Gein's house was condemned,
Right.
she went out there. No, before it was condemned, she went out there with her husband, my grandpa, and they took pictures in front of the house. And I have the original pictures of her by the house, and I use them.
Wow.
I use them as bookmarks now because it
That's
keeps
too
me
cool.
safe. But yeah, and yeah, she got me interested in all that stuff. Every year for Christmas, she buys me a new serial killer book.
Nice. That's
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's cool. My parents are the ones that got me interested in it. My dad was a parole officer in New York, and my mom was a secretary for an attorney that represented the lady who got put through the wood chipper in Connecticut. If you ever heard that case, it's the
Yeah,
one
I think.
that inspired the Fargo scene with the wood chipper.
Yep. Yep.
But Hella Crafts was her name. But my mom was the secretary in the office where she went for her to get divorced and then wound up getting killed. But yeah, so I got my interest from my parents. So that
Okay.
is funny. You wouldn't think that parents and grandparents would be passing
Yeah.
it down. But my kids, my daughter especially, is really into that stuff. She's got a master's in forensics, so she's super into it. So
Yep. That's something I would have actually loved to do. It's forensics.
yeah, she's really fortunate to be able to do that. And but yeah, she's super into it. So I guess I did the same thing, passed it on. And my granddaughter, speaking of that, my granddaughter sent me a Christmas gift of, I don't have it with me or I hold it up, the Jeffrey Dahmer cutting board. And it says, if you can't beat him, eat him, with
Nice.
Jeffrey Dahmer. And I was like, wow, I can't believe Alex, my 11-year-old granddaughter, came up with that one. But she did. She said, Papa, I knew you would love this. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's just
Aw.
passing it on to the generations.
Yeah.
Very cool. Other than wintersgore.com, is there any other social media? I know you're on Facebook, but anything else like that you want to mention?
I am on Facebook and I am on Instagram, but I tend to forget I have Instagram sometimes, so I don't really post a lot on there.
Yeah, I'm like that with Twitter. I have it, but I don't use it really. So
I do have Twitter. I signed up for it, but I don't think I did anything with it. So,
yeah, there's just so much. It's hard to
yeah.
keep up with it. It
Hmm.
really is. But that's cool. We'll definitely link to that. And of course, our followers on Facebook have seen us tag you and stuff before. So,
Yep.
Winter's Gore, you can find her there on Facebook, Instagram, and that sort of thing. Now, I know that horror movies, of course, need props. Have you ever looked into what's involved with getting your stuff looked at by people that make horror movies? Or is that something maybe down the
Um,
road?
I actually have a lot of people ask me this, if like, oh, you definitely work for movies or, stuff like that. I'm like, no, I really don't. And I've had a couple, how do you say, are they indie film, like the solo,
Right.
I think it's indie
Yeah,
film.
indie films. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get a hold of me and be like, "Hey, I need a severed head prop. Can you make me one of those?" Or I need
Right.
a really brutal mask. Can you make me one of those? So I've had a couple people come to me for some movies.
That's cool. I know with music, it was the same thing. The indie filmmakers, you're going to stand a better chance because you're not dealing with corporate
Yep.
rules and all that bullshit that goes along
Yeah.
with that. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I could totally see your stuff in an movie, but it's starting with the indies is probably the smart way to go. So
Yeah. Well, I
that's
hope
really
so. I,
cool.
I haven't made anything yet. We've been talking about it, but yeah, that'd be cool. I
Good.
hope so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anything else, Kelsey? We covered a lot, but is there anything else that we didn't mention that you wanted to bring up?
Yes, it kind of falls under the social media. So we have my family, it's me and my husband, my son. We decided to make a YouTube channel, and it's called the Winters Gore Family. We consider ourselves busybodies for the most part with the conventions, with the work that I do. We love to fish. We're always doing something. So we're like, pretty much for ourselves, why not film it and put it on YouTube and just something to look back on as the years go by.
That's
And
cool.
Yeah, so if any of y'all want to check out the Winter's Gore family on YouTube, we have 3 videos up. We just recently did the hot sauce challenge from Hot Ones.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it was season 14 hot sauces, and there's 10 of them. So yeah, we just did that. My son obviously didn't do it because I don't think he'd last through the first one. It was pretty brutal.
I'm
I
sure.
Yeah, but other than that, I think we pretty much mentioned everything.
Okay, very, very cool. Well, thanks again, Kelsey, for coming on. I think the Winter's Gore stuff is amazing, and I applaud what you're doing. I think it's awesome, and all of us here at Murder Metal Mayhem, wish you the best. I know Joey and Chris were not able to be here. Joey had to work, and Chris's daughter was in some sort of Christmas program. He wasn't able to make it, so it's just me. But all of us really support what you're doing and think it's super cool. So horns high from all of us, and thank you very, very much for doing this.
Yes, thank you. I had fun.
Very cool. Well, that's good.
Mother, man.